Yo, what's good? So, by the way, have you guys been noticing? I'm rocking my quarter jade merch. If you guys didn't know, she recently entered the GC with the Skies team, who is Kaide, herself, Sydney, Tenzin, and Tupperware, which uh she was already in the GC scene with Team Immortals last season, I believe. And I also believe Tenzin has competed in GC before. So super excited. Jody is so cracked that I remember at TwitchCon I asked her, could you ever see yourself competing like in pro? Um and I remember she said that she didn't think that she was good enough at that point, and that she doesn't think that she would ever have the time for it. But being as how this is a content team, I'm super excited to see her play. I've been really wanting to see her capability like in pro scenes, because I know that she's like really talented. So like her and John, aka Masayoshi, are like one of the main reasons why like I feel like I've gotten better at Valorant, because I follow a lot of the tips that like they say on stream, or I just like by watching them I like kind of copy like what they have done to like get better. So all right, but anyways, sorry, I just wanted to blabber on about that because I'm so excited to see them compete. But back to this tier list. Okay, so uh, list. Okay, so um, we are doing Sentinels. So our first Sentinel, Killjoy. Um, Killjoy, I feel like is a. I feel like honestly, Killjoy is an S, right? Um, Main reason I feel like Killjoy is S Sentinel because the lockdown is OP. Obviously, it can be destroyed if you don't pay attention by Brimalt and by Soval. Like if you're not paying attention to your scoreboard. But I just think that she like her abilities of like the turret for early info and for like catching lurkers and stuff are great. The mollies do great amounts of damage, especially when you have really good setups. For example, like people on that play KJ on Ascent kind of go crazy with their setups. Um, I feel like the main con of KJ is that you're not really able to play aggressive, but this is also towards most Sentinels, right? Step 4, I feel like Sage and Chamber can both be played semi-aggressive. So, um, that's my thing. So I do think that also in lower elos and like in my experience from having to like go through my ranks, um, a lot of KJs focus more on their util than practicing on their gun skill and their so even then I still feel like that she's a great agent for both defensive play and for catching people lurking on offense. So again, I do think that he is very useful. I do keep her at S. So I said so a lot. Don't let me be. Next we have Cypher. Cypher, really good Cypher mains are disgusting. There's so many different setups. Cypher is super annoying because like you can try to dash in, it'll catch you. You can try to run in, it'll catch you. Like they'll usually have these like tricky setups to where you think you can jump over one, right? But then there'll be like a second one so close after that you'll catch that one. Like really good Cypher mains can be super annoying. Their util is great. The fact that you can use a camera from across the map is great. Um, and cons again, you can't play too aggressive with him. Um, because obviously, like he's like a lurking type, right? Especially on offense, definitely use him to lurk a bit. You want to make sure you use all the util to the best of their like the Cypher's abilities. So, after that, Sage. Honestly, here's my thing. Sage is not ever needed. You do not need Valorant is not a game where you should be thinking like, "Oh, I'll be the healer for the team." That should not ever be what you're like what you're thinking whenever you're playing Sage. So, whenever you're playing whenever you choose to play Sage, it's because you feel confident with her abilities and or you just want to support the team because maybe your main got taken, right? And I feel like Sage is pretty self-explanatory in the sense of how to use her abilities. She is great for defense because the wall can be pretty useful. Obviously, if you put it down immediately, it could be destroyed. But thing with the utility is the slows are a huge part of like Sage's utility. So you put a slow down, and it forces the enemy team to wait unless they have like a jet or a neon that want to try and jump over it or dash over it or a raise that wants to blast pack over it. That's fine. But at the end of the day, I still think that her util, the fact that she can heal at, like your allies up to 100, you have slows and a wall that can be used to slow people down or post plant. You can put up the wall to help you defuse or even block enemies out and have them waste their time breaking the wall is all around great. Um, but I just don't feel like Sage is needed in a comp or in a I mean, obviously the most OP thing about Sage is the fact that she has a res and is able to revive someone that has died. So besides that, I just don't have don't see too much use, right? Next up is Chamber. Chamber after the nerf, is a little bit like a slower now agent. The fact like even the util like it's a little bit slower when you use it. So Chamber, I feel like after the nerf, definitely I feel like it post post nerf goes down. Pre nerf would have been an S tier. There's so many cheeky possibilities with Chamber on defense to getting the early picks and being able to TP out. The Headhunter is great, like for ecos or just even to have as a secondary, plus your actual secondary. Like it's pretty overpowered, and the fact that your ultimate is an operator is pretty useful. So I personally think that Chamber would have been S tier prior to his like nerves, but I think he fits a good A. As like I said, the cons is the fact that the headhunter's a lot slower, and so is the op, like your ult, a lot slower when you're trying to shoot it. So whenever you're in situations where you need to be quick, you can't really do that with Chamber as much anymore. Like that's what brings them down a bit. Um, but is that all my? That's all the Sentinels, huh? That's crazy. I think that's what's gonna be added next. Another Sentinel. But yeah, honestly, I feel this is my tier list for the Sentinels. Killjoy and Cypher are the most useful. Chamber is next after that. Even if it's tripwire, right? If they didn't mess it with his tripwire and you could be across the map and put down that trip, I feel like he would be more useful then. But now that they made it so that it's kind of like Killjoy's utility, where you have to be within a certain range of it, that's what kind of brings it down a level. So because I just don't find that as useful anymore. And yeah, I feel like this is a pretty good list. So I hope that you guys can agree with me. I hope that you guys leave comments down below if you guys disagree, and we could talk about it. And make sure again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell to be notified when I post more of this long form content. Make sure to any thoughts about my other videos that I've posted, the first two parts, and make sure that you guys click the link tree and go follow my socials. I'll catch you guys on the next video for the final one, which is the duelist. I feel like everybody really wants to see my opinions.